Hey guys, welcome to episode number 2 of the Ask Glenos SEO show. So what we're going to be talking about today is a very basic understanding of SEO, how it works and why we do it. So episode 1 was based on the fact that we got a question asked by a partner of ours. So anytime you guys ask us questions, we're going to make that our top priority. If in this case, this week we didn't get any questions, we'll basically go to beginner 101, frequently asked questions that we can actually find on Google, what people are searching for on Google, and basically use that as how we build content going forward. And then if next week we get a question, then we'll go straight to that. And then the week after that, we'll go back to what people are asking for on the internet anyway. So we want to make sure that we give the priority first to you guys that ask the questions. And then if you guys aren't asking any questions, we'll just go to what other people are asking the internet basically, and based on what Google suggests as the most frequently asked questions around SEO. So the first question, let me get into it. First question is, what is SEO and how it works? Well, actually, it's the simpler questions that sometimes throw me off. So what is SEO? Ultimately, SEO stands for search engine optimization, and it's the practice and application of improving your website's structure and foundation at a level where it makes sense for users and it makes sense for search engines. Now, back in 2008, we had to do a lot of tweaking because websites were created in weird ways, as I mentioned to you in episode number 1, with the flash and hiding text and all the rest of it. So we had to really optimize foundation on a foundation level to make sure content can actually be found by search engines and not just read only by users. Google used to preach that it was all about the users, nothing about them. If you did that, you could still land in a bit of trouble because developers could actually produce websites that weren't always visible from a search engine perspective. So when the little search engine, the little crawler comes over the website, it's got to actually pick up, at the time, text. And if it wasn't in text, it didn't really understand anything in images. Now, in saying that, search engines are becoming more and more advanced. So but lucky for Google, the web is moving in one direction in a sense of what is the best standards of building websites. And when you look at most people now, they're using very popular CMS systems like WordPress, Magento, Squarespace, Shopify, and these sort of platforms, not really building up from the ground up. So we're seeing more in the sense that WordPress out of the box takes care of many of these issues that we once had to face more regularly in the early days when I started, in 07, 08. So essentially, SEO is all about optimizing your website to make sure that it makes sense and it's understandable. It's all about, as says it in the word, search engine optimization, so making sure that it's optimized for the search engines. But going forward, it's all been about user experience and how that's grown and developed. So SEO is a term that we still use, but the big term now is really inbound marketing and content marketing, and really like evolving as the industry goes on. Our strategies evolve to what makes sense for the users, knowing that most of the on-page foundation today is quite understood by search engines as they get advanced. So we don't have to be so strict and stringent on basically making sure that elements are done right on websites. And plus, like I mentioned, in the 5 on-page and off-page strategies, I mentioned about crawlability and internal link optimization. Those things still very much apply on a more intermediate to advanced level, but on a basic level, if you're using a system like WordPress, most of the fundamental SEOs are taken care of from a very basic foundation level. So how it works essentially is the search engines, Google, Bing, and there's other ones out there as well, but they send out crawlers and little robots, and they basically go out throughout the entire web crawling web pages. Now, crawling does not necessarily mean indexing, and I'll get to that after, but basically, essentially, how SEO works is the search engines scroll over the web page, and if they like your web page, they'll index it in their system. So when you go to Google and you type in a keyword like Red cars is obviously going to display all pages found by crawling and deciding what it indexes and how it orders it based on an algorithm. And what that algorithm will decide is basically when you get results being returned back to you after going to Google and typing in red cars, what appears as number one, what appears probably on 50 million or 100th millionth web result, basically depends upon their algorithm. And trying to keep it really basic, guys, that algorithm is quite complicated, and who even knows, essentially, if everyone at Google really even knows what it is altogether, they probably don't. That's how sophisticated it is. They've got all different departments. So it works on a basic level by the search engine robots going out, crawling, and deciding what it will show on its index and what it won't. And once you make it to the index, then the second step is to appear higher in search engine queries generated by you guys. Hopefully, guys, this has been a really good basic 101. You know, I find that some of the different, like, it actually throws me off when people ask really simple questions. I'm thinking, what do you do for a living? And I can easily say, oh, I do search engine optimization. It's a process of improving your website's visibility on the search engines. But then, in front of camera, you kind of go, you know, what's the best way to describe it? And then the brain goes in overdrive rather than if you just, someone asked you on the side of the street. So it's been a bit of a journey for me to be able to talk on camera and to get my thoughts out clearly and concise and understand straight. So I'm describing it to you as if it's only just you that's asking me. So guys, if you've got a question on the crawling versus indexing, what is SEO, why we do it, what are search engines, and how SEO is done and understood, please, guys, leave a comment in the comment section below, and hopefully you can maybe ask me a question that I can do for episode number 3. Thanks a lot, guys. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too.